All right, so one of the tools that we've developed over the last few years is the UPS pricing tool. And we use this to compare both inbound, whether you're getting product invoices or whether you have a FedEx invoice that you need to process and just get a complete comparison done. The cool part about this tool is it includes fuel surcharges, it includes residential fees, all of the accessorial charges that come with any particular shipment. Based on all the inputs that you can do here, it just auto calculates everything for a final all-in rate. So this is super accurate. It also does a really good job of compiling all the info and getting a nice, neat comparison for your customer, which we'll go into. So the basics of it is, let's just start at the top here. This percent markup, there's a little drop down that shows you varying markups that you can put for the shipments that you're about to compare. The good news is that every single markup percentage in here has a corresponding price sheet in U1. So let's say that you run a comparison and you're going to save this customer 15% and your markup is going to be 20%. You can actually just copy that markup with your cost sheet in U1 and make sure it's penny to penny accurate, and make sure you're setting the expectation rate for the customer. So this markup is editable. You can slide up and down based on what you're seeing as you run through the comparison. Um, Tariff type is always going to be daily. We want to be running the comparison off the UPS daily rates. Weekly spend, all you want to do here is just input what you see off of your FedEx bill or what you've talked to your customer about off of inbound for an accurate amount of shipping per week. So let's just say the customer that we're going to compare here is doing $800 a week. The 52 week average is going to be 2,000 plus. We're on the fixed rate cost tier, so we don't need to worry about that. And then more importantly, over the last 6 months or so, fuel surcharges come into play a lot. So there's a link here that shows you week by week what the published fuel surcharges for UPS are. You're going to want to correspond that fuel surcharge week to the week that you have. So for instance, if you have an invoice from FedEx that has it's the first week of May for all of their shipments, you're going to want to punch in the ground fuel surcharge, the air fuel surcharge here to match up to what that week was. Lastly, here you've got the DIM divisor. So the standard DIM divisor is 139. Some FedEx accounts or some other competitor accounts have a adjusted DIM divisor. You can edit this to say it's 166 or 194. This will allow you to manipulate the rated weight of a shipment once you have the dimensions and weight in. So what we'll do, we'll start here. So I just already input one of these examples. So let's say we've got a shipment going from 03903 to 90210. If you put the zips in, you don't need to put the zone in, but you can also put the zone in and leave the zips out, depending on what the need is. Here you've got the actual weight, 5 pounds, length, width, height. So we're doing 15 by 15 by 5. No, it is not a letter, like a letter envelope. Yes, it is going residential. Insured value is the insurance that you're putting on the package itself. So UPS and FedEx both by default give you $100 in coverage per shipment. But if you're seeing on your FedEx invoice that a particular shipment is covered for $450, let's say we're just going to throw $450 in there to match it. Your service level, you've got a drop down, so anything from next day air to ground residential. So let's say we're just doing this shipment as a ground residential shipment. On 20% markups, the Unishippers rate is $23.28. The FedEx rate's probably a little bit high. Let's just say, for instance, that it's $29.02 or $29.01. So you've got your savings number here. Your overall savings is 20% up top. Let's say you don't need to save them that much and you want to build a little bit more margin for yourself. So let's take this 20 and let's bring it up to 24s. And then you're going to see that the savings number for the customer is 17, and we just created another 4% margin for ourselves. That's the name of the game. You just want to maximize your margin while saving the customer enough to make it worth a switch for them. So once all this is done, once all the data is input and you're happy with what you see here, the next step is to just hop over here to customer summary. This is a clean sheet, and this is the sheet that you'll be using to present to the customer. By putting in the weekly spend on the other page, you're producing a current annual net spend for the customer. So you're telling them exactly how much they're spending right now. You're giving them the estimated annual cost savings based on the 17% savings that you saw, and then a little 5-year savings estimate as well. What this also does is it'll pull some data points like the first few shipments from the other sheet over, so you can show the customer a little bit more detail in terms of service level and savings and all that stuff. Lastly, on the bottom here, this will give them the total spend and savings by service level. So you're going to see we have a ground residential shipment on here. It's $29 to $24, 17% overall. You can create a PDF of this, so you can just export this to a PDF, and then when you're meeting with your customer to go over your proposal, you can just send them this once you have them on the phone, and be able to explain everything and just be able to go get a nice clean commitment from there. Some of the other things to be looking at with this tool, down here, this tab is cost and sell discounts. So this has all of our cost discounts on it here. And then based on the margin percentage that you have in the data entry tab, these are what your discounts are for sell discounts. So 56.58% for next day, and you've got domestic ground down here 11.84%, and then larger packages 21 plus pounds is 28.95. So this will, if your customer is asking you what kind of percentage discounts you're getting, this is what you can reference, and you'll also just know based on the way that you're setting them up what discounts that they're getting as well. That's about it for this. Well, there's another video about accessorial discounts and how to manipulate, dimensional weight and residential charges and that kind of thing. Actually, one other thing. Let's go back to the data entry. There is one more section over here where if you slide to the right, size calculation and uncommon accessorials. So this just keeps a little log of fees that are getting tacked on. So let's say, for instance, that on the destination zip, we're going to go to 03903. I chose that because I know that that's a delivery area surcharge. So there's a little extra money that gets tacked on. So you're going to see delivery area surcharge checkbox. That way you know that delivery area surcharge is being built into that finalized rate. The other thing that you can see is based on the length, width, and height of the box, you're going to get a dimensional weight calculation over here of 9 pounds for this particular shipment. So let's say, for instance, that over here, your actual weight is 5. Your dimensions are 15 by 15 by 5. This shipment's actually getting rated out as a 9-pound shipment instead of a 5. And a little bit more info on that on the common UPS charges that come up. Dimensional weight's a big thing. So long story short, this is a way to be able to compile all of your comparisons together. So it's either a FedEx bill, it's an inbound, inbound product invoices. This is a catch-all, and we'll be able to produce comparisons for you so you can give clear savings expectations to your customers.